Welcome back, season 2 of the There Will Be Bond podcast. I didn't think there were seasons in podcasting, but luckily for you listeners, and less so for my wife Anastasia, there is. International James Bond Day came and went. Nothing was announced, was it, Rob?
It was not.
And why was anyone surprised? Guns in Amazon thumbnails came and went. Whose idea was that? Are we all starting to believe that Barbara was right after all, that they're all effing idiots over there at Amazon? Well, the warning signs are there already, aren't they? A little foreboding for what's to come, do you think? But you could argue it's been coming for a long time. When was the last time you saw Bond slap a woman on the arse and send her packing? Smoked a stogie while paragliding. Next up, they'll take away his martinis and you'll start to wonder, what's the point in living if you can't drink, slap women on the arse and all that stuff? I don't know where this is going. But at least if Bond does quit drinking, there really will be no reason for people to go to Duke's. Not that there is one anyway. No, Rob, you let it go. Season 2, you let it go.
I didn't go to Duke's this weekend, just gone. I didn't go. People we know did. I didn't go.
Good for you. That's why I love you.
Yeah.
On the agenda today... I struggled. I'm wearing a tie. I'm not usually wearing a tie. Well, this is actually for... Roger Moore's birthday.
Yeah, so today we're recording on the 14th of October.
We are, yes, we should say.
And today, Roger Moore would have been 98?
98, yeah, 98. And this is no good for people listening, but we do have a YouTube channel, and this will be out on YouTube. You can see that's the Benson and Clegg tie, the regimental tie that he wears in Live and Let Die when he arrives in New York.
Should really have that up on the screen.
I was going to put it up on screen, but
we've got him on in the boat in Live and Let Die.
But I only wear this, Rob, on very special Roger Moore days because it's a club tie, you see. It's a regimental tie. And if you're not in the regiment, you shouldn't be wearing it.
Do you know what? I've got 2 or 3 photos with Roger Moore, and he's wearing the same tie in all photographs.
Oh, really?
Taken different years. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Oh, well, it'll be a club tie, probably. Anyway, so I should say on the agenda today, Rob is going to give us a full debrief of all the Bond events he went to in London over the weekend.
Indeed.
We have a new segment based on the, well, I guess on the colonic events that have been happening recently to myself.
Ew, how revolting.
How disgusting. Well, Tom Sears, we begged Tom to tell us his colonic story, and he did.
And it was disgusting.
And then since then, it's kind of kicked on a bit. We have some listener mail that contains that. So I thought a news segment, but we're going to put it on right at the end because we don't want to disgust everyone straight away.
No, we don't want people switching off before
But
we even started.
I've got a new jingle. So the segment, I was thinking of a name for the segment. How about this, Rob? Thrilling Shitties.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Also, we're going to announce the next film that we'll be breaking down minute by minute. We have 6 of the best, Rob.
Are we going to announce it? Isn't the poll still going?
Poll's done. Poll's closed. It's all
Is it?
done and dusted.
Really?
Yes.
Some people don't know about it. I was going to give it one last boost.
I put it on the fucking agenda. If anyone's going to know about it,
we could do one last boost for next week.
No, it's all done. It's all done
okay.
and done, buddy. Yeah, thanks, though. Thank you to everyone that voted. Clearly, Rob didn't know, but it is closed. And by the way, it doesn't matter. It's not even close. Even if
really?
Yeah, it's not even close. But we'll announce it at the end.
Fair enough.
We got the quiz. And won't do listener mail this week because mainly this is just a little trailer, I suppose, for what is left for the season 2.
Yeah.
And
Series 2.
Series 2, I said.
If you're in the UK, it's Series 2.
Yeah.
In America, they say Season 2.
I know. Okay. Well,
I always say series because I work in UK television and I can't bear the word season in TV.
Look, I'm not a fan of seasons. I don't know why people do seasons on podcasts either. It kind of irks me. But okay, let's do a series then. Series.
Yes. Well, we are UK based. I think we should do it. Series 2.
Okay, Rob. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Could have put that in the fucking agenda.
I've only just thought
going
of it.
all the way through it. Well, listen. Formal introduction. A man that only sleeps on the company time. It's Rob St. John Smythe. How are we doing today, Rob?
I'm very well, thank you, Pete. Got lots to tell you from my Bondian weekend.
Well, I feel like this is going to be one of them episodes where I'm just going to put my feet up because all of the Bondian stuff happened to you over the last couple of weeks.
And you've been on holiday in South Africa.
And the only thing that happened in South Africa was Carte Blanche, the continuation novel by Jeffrey Deaver. And I went to a couple of locations. Outside of that, not much Bondian to hark on about.
Locations? But there weren't any... What, from the books you mean, not
In the book.
film? Oh, yeah.
Remember the books that you don't read?
Yeah.
By your own admission.
This is true.
Okay.
This is true. Yeah.
Well, where do you want to start, Rob? I mean,
So
chronologically.
as I'm sure most of our listeners are aware, if they follow social media in the Bond world, Cue the Music had their big concert on Sunday just gone in London, Theatre Royal Drury Lane. It's been a big lead up to this for the last few months. In fact, we interviewed Warren Ringham, the band leader, earlier this year on our YouTube channel, didn't we?
We did, actually, yeah.
And he gave us the backstory on how he had this great coup of rounding up the 3 surviving Miss Moneypenny actresses for the very first time. They've never been together before, ever. So it was really quite something. So we had Caroline Bliss, Samantha Bond, and Naomi Harris.
Amazing.
So first ever Bond public appearance.
Okay.
So really quite something. And I was just waiting for one of them to drop out at the last minute. It's like, oh, sorry, Naomi Harris is cancelled, But that didn't happen. They were there. So we will come to that. So this is what it was all leading up to. And so hundreds of Bond fans from all over the globe were descending on London this last weekend for this event. And there was a pre and post show. So they would do an interview with the 3 Moneypennies beforehand. So David Zaritsky did that. And then there's an after show party, which they always do anyway. And that's always good fun because you get to meet other friends in the Bond community you don't necessarily get to see maybe once a year, twice a year if you're lucky. So it's always good fun. So, so I've been looking forward to this. And you deserted me. You went off on holiday on safari.
I did this last year as well.
Yeah.
It just so happens to tie in every year when this event happens, the London Gather All and the Cue the Music show. And now there seems to be other events. So it kind of...
Well, it's always the same weekend.
Yeah.
So maybe
funny.
next year do your holiday in a different week.
Well, look, this is... let me just tap into that real quick because I've had thoughts. So I got off the phone... I was speaking to Anders earlier, Anders Fraser.
Oh, yes. From Sweden with Love.
Yeah, from Sweden with Love. And I said, oh, yeah, no. He goes, how you doing? I said, oh, good. I missed the whirlwind that happened in London last weekend.
He did.
And he goes, yeah, I did as well, but I'm kind of beyond that, so I'm all good. And
I'm kind of beyond that.
Well, I'm paraphrasing.
Okay.
It doesn't mean he's above it. He was just saying...
Well, I should hope not.
No, I'm just fucking hell. So this is... But then I was thinking, I may be a little bit like that as well.
What, you bonded out? Really?
Well, look, I don't do that well in large crowds, as you know, and I don't really do that well in small crowds. So I like the one-on-one or the ones-on-twos.
Okay.
So something like that, it can get overwhelming, largely because my hearing's not great, and when I'm in a crowded space, I struggle to hear.
Oh, I know what you mean.
And
yes.
When I also struggled, I always had this feeling people talk over your shoulder a lot of the time, and because you know everyone's face, because you follow them on Instagram or you know them socially. If you've got like 100 people in the room and you catch someone's eye and then they come over, you got to stop talking to the person you're with, and then you start talking to them. I'm like,
well, this is what the whole weekend was like.
It's like speed dating.
It's exactly what it was. That's
without
what Brian,
the sex.
That's what Brian Dobson called it. Speed
Right.
dating.
Yeah.
So anyway, because everyone was descending on London for this big event on the Sunday, as I'm sure you're aware, David Zaritsky decided to organise a meetup, or gather all as he calls it, on the Saturday night, as people would be in town, and it would be free. And he did this last year, and I think he might have done it the year before. Certainly did it last year at the Hippodrome Casino in Leicester Square, and it was a wonderful event. And this year, it was at a different venue. It was at the Morpeth Arms in Pimlico on the river, directly opposite the MI6 building at Vauxhall. And it was going to be, as well as this gather all, it was going to be a launch of Joe Darlington's new book,
Yes.
Being James Bond,
Now that-
Volume 2.
I am sad that I missed it. It would have been nice to see Joe.
Yes. Well, he
hang
missed
with
you.
Joe a little bit.
He missed you.
Oh, I saw the photos of you and Joe together.
Yes.
That was quite sweet.
Yes. So I met him. First time I met him in person. You met him before in person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Briefly once.
So it was nice to finally meet him, because we interviewed him earlier in the year on the YouTube channel. If anyone
right.
hasn't seen that, go back and have a look. We had a very good interview with him, all about that book and the expanded Volume 1 edition as well, because he's added, I think, several films to that one. So, yes, so it was centered around the launch of that, and he was signing copies of the book. And then David was going to interview Martin Mulder, who is celebrating 30 years of On the Tracks of 007.
Good old
And again, we
Martin.
had an interview with Martin Mulder earlier this year. So if you go on the YouTube channel,
Yeah.
you will find that where he talked all about 30 years of On the Tracks and how it all started, which is pretty much what he said at the event. So yeah, I was a little bit surprised that it was in this smaller venue, because I remember from last year how many people there were, and there were literally hundreds, because it's free and people have come from all over the world, and so many people follow Bond on social media. They all descend on this, and there were 2 very large rooms in the Hippodrome last year, and I thought, God, is this pub going to cope? I can't see it. So anyway, our good friend Fraser Lockley of the Bond Blueprint, which is a podcast he's hoping to start soon.
Great
He has
name.
Instagram page, the Bond Blueprint.
And he's got merch already done,
He's
right?
got merch, he's got T-shirts, he's got merch, he's got an Instagram page, he's got a domain name, just no podcast
Yeah.
as of yet. But
Well,
it's going to be focusing on the books, because the books are his first love.
Well, he won't be getting you on then.
Well, I've read the books. It's a good opportunity to revisit them. But I think he will be comparing the books with the films as well.
It's
not
a
gonna
great
be...
idea for a podcast. He told me about it when we went to your house for cucumber sandwiches.
Yes, did he?
And he laid it all out, the plan and the comparison between the books and the film. I thought, bollocks, that's a really good one. There are some ideas for podcast channels, and especially within the Bond, that I thought, if I'd have thought of that, I would have done it. I always liked Quantum of History. It's just like picking some moment in a Bond film that's happened and it relates to history, and then you just unpack
And
that
Fraser's
stuff like that.
extremely knowledgeable. He was on our first Patreon episode. So if you join up to our Patreon, you'll be able to hear that. And he's been on the James Bond Club Ireland podcast a couple of times talking about the books. So yeah, he's great. So he actually came down from Leicester and he stayed at my house for the weekend. So we had a bit of a Bond sesh Friday night. We watched From Russia with Love 4K disc. And then we watched License to Kill in 4K on iTunes. So a double bill.
Right.
Quite differing films there, but most enjoyable, I have to say. So then he accompanied me into London on the Saturday, and we met up with some friends who I was in Thailand with last year, Tom and Molly Vates, and we had a wonderful afternoon tea at the Langham Hotel, which itself was a Bond location in Goldeneye, or the exterior was, just before the sort of sauna scene or swimming pool scene, whatever that room is. Beautiful hotel. And our friend Darren Noble was there as well, and Brian Dobson from James Bond Radio, Becca Andrews, so Graham Mallia, Richard Neves, all people you know, and in the Bond community. That was really nice. So we filled up on a lovely afternoon tea. And then I think Martin Mulder had to dash off to go and set up the Morpeth Arms. And then I went along to the Morpeth Arms. I got there with Fraser just gone 7. So it was meant to start at 7 p.m. So we thought, we won't get there before 7. They'll be setting up, you know. Got there 7:05, couldn't get upstairs to where it was all happening. There's too many people. They had closed it. It was so busy. So it's only a small room, and it's got a little sort of spiral staircase up to it, and they weren't allowing people up the stairs. I thought, my God, it's 7:05, really? And like, yeah. So I had to stay downstairs, and there were loads of people downstairs that I knew, loads of people who couldn't get upstairs.
Yeah.
And then David interviewed Joe about the book, and I missed all of that because I was downstairs and couldn't go up. But I'm
You
sure
gotta get there on time,
I'm
pal.
sure he was repeating
You're too
what
busy eating your cucumber sandwiches. You sent me a picture of the menu.
the
at the
cucumber
Langham.
sandwiches were delicious.
The classic. What did I reply? I said, you said classic cucumber sandwiches. I said classic carbs. Just
Yes.
nothing but carbs on the menu.
That's very nice.
Thank you.
And the scones as well. But yes, so I missed that. But I had a nice chat with AJ and Matt Field and various other people. But
Oh,
Mr. Thunderballs himself.
Yeah, I might be meeting him at
Marty. Is it Marty or Martin?
well, I think it's Martin, but it's probably
Martin.
been... Anyway,
Yeah.
Rob.
So that was cool. And then people started coming down. So I was like, I can go up. So I went up, and there was Joe signing copies. So I queued up, and he signed copies of the books for me because I got volume 1 as well. He was very cross you weren't there. And then I waited because I thought, well, they're going to do another talk, aren't they, with Martin? And I waited and waited, and I was chatting and chatting. And then I discovered they'd done it outside on the pavement. I missed it.
Oh, what, the whole interview?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
because there was no room upstairs. So they decided to relocate, do the interview outside on the pavement. Didn't tell us upstairs, so I missed that one as well.
Oh, Rob, that's just a double whammy. You did have no luck. Well, luckily it was free, so you couldn't ask for your money back.
No, and I, to be honest, I knew pretty much of everything that had been said because we had interviewed both of them earlier this year anyway, and they pretty much repeated what they said on our interviews. Although the one thing that Martin did talk about was his new app. Actually, I'm not prepared here. I need to get the little flyer here to promote it. Just bear with me.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll filibust while you plug other people's shit on our show. Well, here we go. Oh, is this the travel tracker on the tracks of 007? I'm just looking at a picture of what looks to be an AI-generated Bond and
So
generic chick.
So Martin Mulder of On the Tracks of 007 has a new app that you can download.
Oh, cool.
So
is it free?
I don't know, actually. I think it probably is.
There's a little
I don't know.
QR code. All right, Rob.
But so that's what he was promoting. So we can put a link to that in the show notes. And yeah, so that was that. And then it was just a really lovely catch up with so many people. Really nice. So thoroughly enjoyed that. Saw Dutch Bond fan Jeroen van der Boom, you know him. Had a good chat with him and his lovely wife who's expecting.
Very good.
So wish them congratulations. And so that was lovely. And then on the Sunday was the big day. So I went back up to London with Fraser again and went to the Cue the Music pre-show event for the Miss Moneypennies. So we all got to, if we'd bought a deluxe ticket, and I had done, we all lined up for our photograph with the 3 Moneypennies.
Oh, yeah.
So that was very cool.
You got that?
I got that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
You have to pay for it.
Yes.
You paid for it.
A lot of money. Yeah. But it was worth it.
Yeah. Did you get to stand next to them?
I stood in between them all, and I had my glass of champagne, so it looks like I'm actually enjoying a glass of champagne at a party with them, and not just like stood there for 2 seconds smiling, you know.
Plexiglass in between you.
Practically.
No,
but
just around you. Everyone else is fine.
Yeah.
You're in place.
Yes. But no, that was great. I mean, it was literally like a conveyor belt, and they had so many people to get through, and we all knew that, and we were told you can't like start chatting and stuff. But it was lovely that you could do that, because when else will you get the opportunity to do that, you know? And then they did the interview. So people like us who had the deluxe tickets, they got seating. So we were able to sit down and have a listen.
Finally, you got to listen to an interview.
Yes. And it was so good. And it started with Caroline Bliss, who obviously was Miss Moneypenny in the 2 Timothy Dalton films, Living Daylights, License to Kill. And she talked about how she was offered the role. And she talked about how Lois Maxwell didn't approve of her because she was blonde. And Lois Maxwell wasn't happy about being replaced.
How old was Lois Maxwell when she got off View to a Kill?
She was well into her 50s.
I don't know.
She was pushing 60.
A little bit of...
She was about the same age as Roger, and Roger was 57, 58.
Well, she should be...
Because they were both at RADA together, and she was looking pretty old in View to a Kill, wasn't she?
Well, the whole idea...
And Octopussy.
The whole idea of Bond and Moneypenny is that little play-off of flirting.
Exactly.
They will never do it, but they both wish they would do it, and you're going to have to get this chemistry.
Yeah.
How would Dalton and Lois Maxwell be able to do that?
And I think Lois Maxwell then wanted them to make her M, you see.
Oh, I see.
And she would have spun round in the chair and go, hello, you know, and she would have been promoted. But that was her idea for Living Daylights.
Yeah, it was her idea.
And they were like, no, we're not going to do that. So I think she felt a bit upset about that. But yeah, so... But it was lovely listening to her, and she said that the crew had all been used to Roger cracking jokes for years, and of course Tim was very private and a very serious actor, so it was a very different atmosphere on set with Tim. And everybody,
which is code for saying Tim's a bit of a dick.
Well, no, I don't. I mean, she was very complimentary about him as a person, and she said she loved working with him. He was very pleasant to work with, but yeah, and she said that they had to rein it in a bit, the humour because he was sort of a thespian and they didn't
Well,
joke
also
around.
he's doing all that smoking in front of her, so like I don't think you can get close to someone that's blowing that amount of
Yeah.
smoke. I mean, the amount of passive smoking she must have done on that.
I know, and she said that really in those films she must have had a maximum of about 6 lines.
I thought you were going to say 6 packs of cigarettes.
6 lines
Just
of
passive.
dialogue.
Yeah.
6 lines of dialogue. So it's not a huge amount. And even in License to Kill, she didn't even have a single scene with Tim, even though they all
yeah.
flew out to Mexico to film in a studio that was built out there, and she still didn't have a scene with him. I mean, she was with him; they all put up in the hotel together, but she didn't have any scenes with him, which
Did
is a real
everyone turn
shame.
up with their Barry Manilow LPs?
Well, we weren't allowed to ask them for autographs, but she has signed many.
Right.
She has signed many. Yes, but and she quite enjoys that. That's a nice little thing. But she did say that her favourite moment in the 2 films, because this was a question that David Zawitsky asked each of them, what's the favourite moment that you have, and hers is the cello case toboggan.
Oh yeah.
And Daylights, yeah, and I think that's a lovely scene.
Nice,
and
nice.
and yeah, no, it was really nice. And so then he turned to Samantha Bond, and she revealed before Goldeneye she'd never seen a Bond film. She'd only seen bits of them on TV on bank holidays.
Really?
She'd never sat down and watched a Bond film from beginning to end. So she's not as if, because he asked her if she did any research on the character of Moneypenny.
Wow.
Before taking on the role, and she said, I hadn't even seen a bloody film. So no.
Well, we're now going to get to the stage where the next Bond actor has probably not even seen all the Bonds.
Well, I hope that's not the case.
Well, look, Cary Fukunaga didn't even see Majesty.
Yeah, well,
that's
let's
where
not,
we are in life.
I know it's not good, but
Yeah, just
there
get
we
it on,
are.
that's
I
all.
mean, I don't understand it, but there we are. So yeah, but anyway, she felt very bad at poor Caroline being ditched
Oh,
after just 2 films, and well, so did I actually. I thought it was most unfair that they recast the role, but Samantha Bond said that she and Caroline have known each other all their lives. They were at grammar school together, they were at ballet school together, they were at drama school together at the Bristol Old Vic, and then Naomi chipped in, I went to the Bristol Old Vic too. I'm like, really? You never said? Well, I didn't know you went there until now.
Brilliant.
It's like they never met
That's
her
cool.
before. So yes, so they had this whole thing, and then she's like, "Oh God, what am I going to do with my friend? I can't tell her I've got Moneypenny," and so she just didn't return her calls and just avoided her for months. And then Caroline thought, "What's up with Sam? There's something up with Sam. She's not returning my calls. Has something happened? What's going on?" And she was asking their mutual friends, and then eventually Sam had to call her and break the news to her.
oh,
And was like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know what to say. And Caroline said, you know what, I don't mind because it's gone to someone that I love who needs the money.
oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
Well,
isn't it?
It reminds me of that scene in The Office where he has to go and announce to everyone that they're losing their jobs, and then go, but I've been promoted. So every cloud is a silver lining.
Oh God, that's terrible, isn't it? That series was so cringe. So yeah, so that was really nice. And then she talked about the press show, not the press show, sorry, the press conference of the announcement of Pierce and at Pinewood. And she said there must have been about 2,000 members of the press there. It was unbelievable on the soundstage. And then she got whisked into this little golf buggy with Pierce and just rushed around Pinewood really quickly and then back again for photographs. And she thought it was just all a bit crazy. And she just couldn't quite believe she'd joined this enormous bandwagon. She just wasn't prepared for it. And then they asked her what was her favourite part of shooting the films or favourite scene. And she said, okay. She said, which is the one where I snog him? I can't remember the names of any of the films. Die Another
Die
Day.
Another Day, yeah.
Okay, so that one, she said.
And then everyone
That scene.
got their tomatoes and cabbages and eggs out and fucking pelted
That
her.
scene where he bends her back over the desk
Yeah,
and
yeah.
starts undressing and yeah. So she said that she had a little funny story about that scene because that scene was added at the last minute. It wasn't in the original script.
Oh, okay.
And it was literally the night before they were due to shoot a scene in the office there. Her fax machine made a noise, and this paper came out with this new scene for her to learn. And she started reading it, and she thought, my God, this is a bit racy. And then she went into makeup early the next morning, and Pierce's makeup room was just across the way on the corridor, and his makeup man and dresser were actually two of his best friends, and they knew about the scene, but Pierce's fax machine hadn't worked that night, and he hadn't got the memo. He hadn't been given the scene. He knew nothing about it, and he said to these dresser guys, so what's the first scene that we're doing this morning then? And they told him, and they showed it to him, and Sam Bond down the corridor just heard him shriek, "What the fuck?"
Brilliant.
Yeah, so that was cool. And she said the scene lasted 3 whole hours to film.
Okay.
And she said it was the best 3 hours of her life.
Great. I bet her husband loves hearing that story. I bet he's in the audience going, "Fuck it, I love the way she doesn't just tell me every day over dinner. She tells everyone here in the audience."
Her
as
daughter
well.
was there too, with her.
Oh, really?
Not on stage, but in the audience and with her all day, yeah.
Oh, great.
She was always outside smoking with her daughter.
Oh, they were smoking.
Well, she smokes all the time, Sam Bond.
Does
Yeah,
she?
yeah.
Oh, that's ironic because she throws the bloody cigar away, doesn't
Yeah,
she?
she does.
I know exactly where to stick that.
Yeah.
Fucking in her mouth and sparks. it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, she's
Okay, so,
quite a smoker.
Naomi Harris.
So Naomi Harris, yeah. So she said,
By the way, Rob, what I love about this is that did you write all these notes down as they were saying it, or have you just kind of penciled it
no,
in?
I wrote it down this morning from memory.
Wow.
But Naomi Harris, so she she was sworn to secrecy about her role being Moneypenny. Because obviously it's a surprise at the end of the film, end of Skyfall. And they wanted that to be a huge surprise for cinema
audience,
goers.
yeah.
Yeah. So she couldn't tell anyone, and she found that really, really hard because she tells her family everything, particularly her mum. She lives just down the road from her mum, on the same road. Tells her everything. And
Well,
she
the
was,
mums are the worst. They're the blabbers.
yeah, exactly.
Right,
So
yeah.
she knew she couldn't tell her mum. Because,
That's how Craig got rumbled. They phoned his mum.
no way.
Yeah, they phoned his mum because they do these. They have like little inklings something's happening, so they phone the mum, and they
No
pretend
way.
that the news is already out. So they say, "Oh, Mrs. Craig, whatever. Such great news that your son's now been announced as James. Have you got a couple of words for the press record?" And then they'll go, "Oh well, I'm just so glad that the news is out. Blah de blah. He's so done." And fucking the next day done. That's why Daniel Craig hates the press, by the way.
That is hilarious. I didn't know that. Well, it's just as well. Maybe she knew that story then. Maybe she, and that's why
I
she's
think
like,
it's a common.
I
press
really
tactic.
can't tell my mum. And she said, I can't. And she said, I can't tell my mum because I need this role more than anything.
Yeah.
And she was so thrilled to get it, and she was really anxious at first at working with Daniel because he was such a huge star and she'd never met him. And she said the first encounter, she was walking down the corridor at Pinewood and he was coming the other way, and she got all shy and didn't know what to do, and she felt intimidated by him. So she just kept her head down and avoided eye contact and walked past him. And then he looked round and he stopped and he shouted, "Oi! Come here, we're working together. We've got lots of scenes together." And she looked and he went up to her and he gave her a big hug.
Oh.
And then she said it was lovely after
Just
that.
think, Rob, that's probably what every woman is thinking in their head when they completely blank you at work. They're just so intimidated by your presence, your prowess,
Obviously.
your musk.
Obviously.
You should try that.
Yes.
You should just turn around and go, "Oi,
My great stature. Yes.
we're working together. Come over here."
Come and give me a hug, damn it.
Yeah, you should try that.
I should do.
See how you get on with it.
And then she just went on and about what a strange business filmmaking is, because you end up having very intimate scenes and then often getting semi undressed and getting into bed with people you hardly know in front of a whole crew of technicians. But she loved every minute of it. I mean, she loved doing that scene, the shaving scene
one, yeah,
with him.
yeah.
She loved doing that, but she said it was all a bit strange. And then she said that she and Daniel, there was all this thing about, did they or don't they? And Sam Mendes did tell them what he thought. And then they discussed it between them and came to the conclusion of what they thought, but she wasn't going to tell us.
Oh.
They want to leave it up to us to decide what we think.
Oh, okay.
I know. It's like, I want to know what Sam thought. I want to know what you and Daniel thought. But she wouldn't reveal it. She just teased us with that.
And did you go, I've paid all this fucking money.
Yeah.
I fucking paid for a photo.
Yeah.
I paid for a fucking music gig. I've got the train down here.
Yeah. And you can't even tell us that. We've learnt nothing from you. Nothing. But yeah, no. I mean, she came across as such a lovely, genuine person. Actually, I mean, they all did, and it was so nice to see them all on stage. And David asked really good questions, actually. So yeah, kudos to David Sawicki, because as we all know, he's a fan like us. And I said to him afterwards, I said, well done, because you asked all the questions I would have asked. And he said, well, yeah, because they were the questions that I personally want to ask, and we all want to ask. And yeah, no, so it was really good. It was great. So that was a very interesting interview, and he did sort of do a sort of shortened version of that on stage with them throughout the concert in the evening.
Okay, yeah.
So people could at least hear them talk and relay some anecdotes.
Yeah.
So that was nice.
Okay. Concert good? Enjoy the concert?
Yeah, the concert was amazing. So, I mean, it always is. I mean, Warren always knocks it out the park. And so they did some sweets. So this year, and as he said before when we interviewed him, obviously when they do the tour around the country, they stick to pretty much the main Bond themes with their two vocalists, and that's what they do. But for the London show, where they have a bigger band, full orchestra with strings and everything, that's more tailored to us, to the fans. And because of that, they do suites from the anniversary films,
that's cool. Yeah.
which is really nice, because you're never going to hear that anywhere.
Yeah.
So he did Thunderball suites, and Kerry, the female vocalist, sang Mr. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Nice.
And they did a suite from A View to a Kill, which was wonderful. Wine with Stacey, the flautist, came out and stood in the centre of the stage. The spotlight was on her, and she was performing beautifully, absolutely beautifully. Wine with Stacey from A View to a Kill.
I love that. Was there some news at the end?
There was.
They brought someone out, right?
They did. I'm just coming to this.
Good.
Yes. They didn't do a suite from Spectre, even though that's 10 years old. And I think that's because Warren's not a huge fan of the music from Spectre and Skyfall, because Thomas Newman, he's not that keen on Thomas Newman's music.
Tell John Williams that.
Oh, yeah, I know. John Williams likes it, doesn't he? Yeah. Music of Bond. But there we are. So they'd done their sort of encores and everything. We thought the show was all coming to an end. And then he announced that there was someone that he's been looking up to for many years, and all of us as Bond fans will also look up to for many years. And I was thinking, well, it can't be John Barry, because he's dead. Because I was thinking, is he talking about John Barry? And then he said, and I contacted him. I thought, okay, it's not John Barry, unless he's having a seance, you know.
And here he is.
I know. And I emailed him about possibly joining us or doing something with us, and would he even consider doing something with us? And you know what my emails are like, and how I can't stop talking, and everyone who knows me will tell you I talk and talk and talk, and my emails go on and on and on. And I looked at it and I read it and I just clicked send, and it was David Arnold. He said, I sent it to David Arnold. I thought, he's never going to read it. And it's like, what's this? And then immediately he got a notification from David Arnold saying, I'm in.
Oh, nice.
And David Arnold came on stage and he said, yep, I'm in for next year, and it's going to be a joint concert.
Oh, brilliant.
And David Arnold said he loves what Warren's been doing.
Oh, fantastic.
And he because he's a fan like us, and he just said, Yeah, he didn't even need to read that great long email. He
Mm.
just read the headline and the first paragraph and
Sense
said,
it smacked of
sent it-
desperation.
said, "I'm in," and it was wonderful to see. I mean, there was a standing ovation when he came on stage.
bet, yeah.
Everyone just cheered and cheered and cheered and cheered. I mean, it was very emotional actually saying that. And then the first thing that David Arnold said, so funny, he said, "Well, I'm just glad I've been able to get to this concert without having to battle through a storm, unlike last week where I was on stage in Luton, my hometown, and I had to battle through Storm Amy, which left a wake of destruction in Luton and caused millions of pounds worth of improvement."
It's a good gag. Solid.
So that was great.
Solid.
So, I mean, David Arnold's wonderful. I mean, if anyone who's listening who has seen him or met him, he's very approachable. I've met him too. You've had dinner with him, haven't you?
Have I ever told you about
You
dinner
have.
with David Arnold?
And I've met him after a masterclass he did in North London. And he is so nice. He is not at all big-headed. He is a fan just like us at the end of the day, which is why the music he writes is so good. Because he writes it for the fans, and this is just going to be a wonderful thing. So this time next year, same weekend, they're going to do a really big Cue the Music concert, which is just going to be the music from David Arnold's films.
Great. I'll look forward to booking
And
my
it's gonna
safari
be-
holiday on that weekend.
And he said we're going to need a bigger orchestra.
Oh, so they're
It'll be a
hiring-
bigger venue.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Bigger than Drury Lane?
yeah. And that was sellout. It was
Yeah,
a
they sold
sellout.
it out, yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
So
Oh, good. All right, Rob.
I wonder what that will be. Albert Hall.
Why not? Well, David Arnold knows how to sell out an Albert Hall, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah.
So that
Oh,
will
good
be
on Warren
quite...
as well.
I know.
Yeah.
And
he shoots for the stars, does that boy? Doesn't he?
yes. So then I went to the after party, and that was lovely. And we got to chat with Warren and tell him how much we enjoyed the show. It was all very emotional for him. And a lot of my friends from James Bond Radio were there, and we all got together, did a big photo with Warren. So Warren was so pleased to see Tom Sears because he did a little Music of Bond strand on
That's
James
right,
Bond
yeah,
Radio
no, it
years
was-
ago with Tom.
He put a lot of work into that.
He
as well.
did.
Loads of. I
He
remember
did.
listening to those, and he
Yeah.
goes, "I just can't do this every week because it's just."
That's right.
Phenomenal.
So
amount of research.
JW took over, John Williams with Tom. But yeah, so that was wonderful, and it was a really, really lovely evening, and I had a good little catch up with Calvin Dyson, which was nice.
That's my
Yes.
Calvin Dyson impression.
Yeah.
Imagine Calvin Dyson being shown a tie clip from No Time to Die. This is what it sounds like. You ready? Oh,
Oh, bless him.
that's my Calvin Dyson impression.
Bless him. Yeah, he's so
Happy
nice.
birthday today,
Yes,
right?
happy
Yeah,
birthday. He
Roger
shares
Moore's.
Roger Moore's birthday. Yeah, I don't know how old he is.
I actually had quite a lot of people tag me with Calvin in certain Instagram posts and everything. So
What, today?
over the whole course of the weekend, whenever
Really?
Calvin was in a photo, like Thomas Felix Crichton did a load of stuff where he would send me a picture of him and Calvin Dyson together. And because you know the story about
how we've been trying to get him on the pod.
well, not only that, but when he came to okay, so I'll tell you this.
The Highlander.
Yeah, the Highlander
Yes,
story. So
yes.
okay, just because it's a new season, let me just quickly recap
Series.
the story. Series. That's going to be the new Rotten Tomatoes. Calvin Dyson came to a licensed to grill barbecue that I had here. I walked into the train station just to say goodbye. On the way to the train station, which is about a good 10-15 minutes, I decided to give him a blow-by-blow account of what Highlander's all about. Because he'd never seen Highlander.
That
so I
poor boy.
went through the whole film for him, like from start to finish. But it was on the Presido. Look, I'll walk you to the station, Calvin, because you and I haven't had a chance to catch up. He goes, great, what is it, 15 minutes? Yeah. For 15 solid fucking minutes, all I did was tell him what Highlander was all about. Anyway, so that was that.
That
So
poor boy.
that's
And
the
then you
running
wonder
gag.
why he doesn't return any
That's
of
the
our
running
calls
gag.
or
So-
emails.
So Thomas from Fleming Never Dies asked Calvin apparently about the Highlander incident of him.
Oh,
coming up.
really?
Yeah. And Calvin didn't know anything about it.
Oh,
Because
I bet
he-
he
Well,
did. he just
probably
doesn't want
buried
to
it-
embarrass
He
you.
probably buried it into his subconscious. Because what he said was that the party was billed as this like wine tasting event, which it was. We had a proper wine sommelier here, and we were going to do the bonds of wine and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, nice.
Well, you came late. You missed all that, right?
No, I wasn't. Oh, you didn't know me then. That was the
Oh,
year
that
before.
Anyway, okay, so this story is very old. But he then, apparently, he had quite a few wines, and everything got a little bit on top of him.
Oh, did he?
And he's kind of blanked that whole episode of me walking, and I don't blame him.
Oh.
If I was him, I'd blank it as well. However,
Well-
so every time that he was tagged in a post, someone would tag me and comment me and goes, "I hope he's up to date with the Highlander by now." And it just got to a point where I was like, "Please, I think
God.
he's going to be trolled for the rest of his life." Fucking-
Oh boy.
Do you know what we should do? We should for my birthday in January. We should do a screening of
We're screening
Highlander.
Highlander and get Calvin over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, you know what?
no.
Instead of that, I'll tell him it's a big screening of Highlander. But instead of that, I'll just invite him round, and all I'll do, I'll get up on stage and talk about it for about an hour and a half.
No, I think you should tell him we're having a screening of Goldeneye, get him over, and then put Highlander on instead.
Bloody hell. Anyway, so that's I did get to realise Calvin's movements over the weekend, mainly because people were tagging me.
Well, I had a really lovely chat with him.
Good.
Actually.
Good.
And he did say he'd like to come on. And so, hopefully I can instigate that. I can.
Well, you've tagged him also in the post, but he hasn't accepted your invitation, has he?
Well, he probably hasn't seen it yet. It's his birthday.
You were quite
I
upset about
I
that,
invited him to collaborate my Instagram post,
It's like, I've had enough of that guy.
and I'm sure
Alright.
he will. I'm sure he will. Yes.
Well,
so
he's more
bless
than
him.
welcome.
So it was a most enjoyable weekend, and I'm still recovering from it, I have to say. But it was great fun.